If a trans woman tries to go compete with a man in a transphobic sports league, I have a feeling that's going to be not exactly the most welcoming environment normatively in American culture today. Men seem to perform better at certain tasks than women.
Yeah, I've been pretty staunchly for co-ed sports. I've met women who can kick my ass.
Let's make all sports co-ed and do it by skill level. And then ask yourself why. All the top skill levels are just men.
Intersectionality is probably one of the most important aspects of us as people.
Okay, listen. When they don't say who they is and they keep mentioning a nebulous they, we're doing triple brackets. That's how it works.
They'll always tell you, well, females will always lose to males, but then you have boxers like Patricio Manuel who goes undefeated.
They've won 3 by decision, lost 1 by knockout. None of these people are anybody. Look at this.
Why am I dancing with that trans person?
Yeah, so we got the line, trans women are women. Disagree? Call Arden Hart and Jovan Bradley. Cause I wanna... 28th of February. Don't know what cause I wanna means. But yeah, people call in, they get... What is it? They get advice from these people. They get debates if that's what they want to do. Yeah, typically the hosts they get are not especially bright. I'm not very keen on Arden Hart. She seems like someone that definitely wants to flip out at everyone all the time. And also Matt Dillahunty is a homosexual. And I've watched Jovan Bradley. He doesn't impress me either. The thing that I saw of him recently, his main tactic seems to be like changing people's arguments and then getting them to agree with them. That was most of what I saw. And then being very controlling over how the conversation goes from there. But yeah, we'll just get a quick feel of them chatting to each other. I'm going to assume that Jovan is fully erect the whole time. Let's have a look.
So that's where I now specifically debate callers from YouTube, and it is exactly as arduous as it sounds.
Oh, it's arduous. Being a liar on the internet is arduous. Poor Jovan.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. I don't know much about...
Oh my god, she might have actually washed her hair this time.
Like the TikTok debate sphere. Despite being 29, I feel like I'm a boomer when it comes to TikTok. I just like cannot... I didn't get on the hype train, and now I feel like the content that I see there, I'm like, oh, it's so cringe. I don't know if I could ever do any of that kind of stuff myself. But I like what you do. You're just kind of doing clips of you debating, and that feels nice. That's more my speed.
Listen,
yeah,
I would love to say I don't like the cringe stuff, but I love skibbity. I love the brain rot that whenever someone says skibbity, I'm like, I don't know why. It's funny. It's funny every time.
I do listen. I love a bit of terminally online, like brain rot stuff. That's good and fun to me. It's more of like how women, especially intellectual women, seem to be successful in the online space. There's often.
I'm bored already. Okay, let's see from here.
Oh, let's do it.
All right. Let's talk first to Mario in New Mexico. Pronouns are they, them, is an atheist who wants to have a productive conversation about identity politics, feels it's a deep topic and people are too shallow about it. So, Mario, you are live with Arden and Jovan. What do you want to be specific about what exactly in identity politics you want to talk about?
Yeah, see I support identity politics because identity goes very deep, but the way we have of talking about identity tends to be pretty shallow, I think.
Okay.
So
looks like a different person every video. She looks like a rabbit in this video with the teeth.
It's one thing for me to say I identify as non-binary, but that doesn't seem...
Yeah, like Arden looks okay, but like there's definite tells. Like the head shape is weird. The head shape is always a thing.
Mary.
The only brain rot content worth anything is John Cena trolling. Jokes aside, the guy with cat ears seems like a snake.
I agree, he is a snake. Thank you, Asami Yamazaki.
To convey the meaning, what it really means for me to be non-binary.
Sure. Labels are inherently reductive and are going to fail to really capture the full depth of anyone's identity. I think that's kind of universal.
Are people's identities that deep? Like, I don't know.
Hello?
Yes.
So
well, yeah, because we need to, because identity isn't just a label. It's, our lived experience. That's another thing people think is shallow, but is actually.
Wait, your identity is also your lived experience. I mean, your lived experience informs your identity, but they're not. I don't know. Where are we going with this?
Really deep.
I don't even know that it's shallow. I think the problem is you have an entire half of the country who claims they don't like identity politics, so they try to ignore like anything related to it, even though
what has this got to do with anything?
It's like their whole thing is I'm going to use identity politics.
Like, we got no time in before we just start randomly shitting on like conservatives, which just say what you mean, by the way. Stop being a pussy. Say who you're talking about.
As much as humanly possible. So I think it's just been, the phrase has been demonized so much when like intersectionality is probably one of the most important aspects of us as people.
How so? How is intersectionality one of the most important aspects of us as people? In what sense? How can it be that important when you can have black people be extremely successful and white people who are out on the street? It kind of seems like a lot of shit happens and you might be the most technically privileged person ever. You might be a white cis-het man that comes from a middle-class family and you have nothing really wrong with you. You can like still end up out on your ass. And these intersectional types tend to have nothing to say about those kinds of people because they don't give a fuck about like white people or like men or whatever. Those are the kind of people they're always trying to cast aside.
Well, look, I don't, we don't have to get too deep into this, but I'm a Marxist, so I see, I see...
Of course this retard is a Marxist. What else is he going to be?
Race, race functions as a social construct that upholds the ruling class.
Based. True.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree. I'm trying
Hermes from Futurama, maybe a little bit.
to figure out what your point is though. Like, what are you trying to get to? Like, I agree with everything you've said so far. I think I'm fully in alignment with you about. I feel so. Here, let me. We were back
well,
up.
okay. Let me
really quickly.
Can I give you an example of what I'm talking about?
I mean,
I think this guy's trolling, but I can't tell.
I understand what you're talking about from what you've said. I'm trying to understand the point, not necessarily an example, because like it sounds like what you're saying to me is that like language is inherently reductive. Like just calling something race doesn't actually convey what the construct really is, and I completely agree with that.
We have to incorporate the depth of our identity into...
She's so impatient. I reckon the best way to troll someone like Arden Hart is just to talk as slowly as you can. Like, talk in a way where they can't be nasty to you because it sounds like it might be something you can't help. And then just like talk as slowly as you can. I reckon that would drive her up the fucking wall. I wonder if she's going to lose her shit with him just for that.
To our identity politics. Incorporate the depth of our identity into our identity politics.
So what are you advocating for? Like, do you think that we're not doing this the right way? Like, how would you change what we're doing to satisfy what you're at? Like, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, when someone says that the pronoun thing is just about what a person wants to be called, we have to be there, if possible, to correct the record. I'm pretty sure a lot of us are already doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think practically we kind of have to let a lot of things be less nuanced because we just, we only got so many hours in the day to have the same conversations over and over.
That's bullshit. You don't believe that. You don't believe that at all. I could listen, I'd be guessing, but I can come up with plenty of better reasons why this person would avoid nuance based on having watched him.
Over.
Yeah, language is all
we
about
have to
heuristics.
become.
Language is always about... Wait, what was it? Language is always about heuristics. What are you talking about?
Conversations over and over.
Yeah, language is all
we
about
have to
heuristics.
become.
What do you even think you're saying? Like, enabling someone to discover or learn something for themselves. I don't think that's true at all.
We have to become conscious of the ruling class social constructs that keep us divided.
True.
I agree. So, Mario, I think we might move on to the next caller. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm struggling to understand exactly what you're advocating for from us or from other people, or like, yeah, I don't really get the point, but I agree with everything you're saying. So if you just want to
notice how we talk about
how much capitalism sucks, I'm there with you.
Notice how we talk about.
But I agree with everything you're saying. So if you just want to
notice how we talk about
how much capitalism sucks,
Yeah, how much capitalism sucks, all this shit all behind you. All this shit all behind him. The fact that you're in existence, being able to do all of this kind of stuff on the internet. All of which developed at the same time as fucking capitalism.
Notice how we talk about things.
Like, I wonder if we'd be anywhere near where we're at in places like America and the UK to be able to have these kind of conversations in the first place. Would this have existed without capitalism? I guess it might have done. But it's hard to imagine. And like, these people are Marxists. Like, well, people trying to make fucking Marxist states, it's always gone terribly wrong, pretty much. So I don't know, man.
Just to notice how we talk about things is very important.
I agree. Okay, thanks, Mario. I don't got anything else to add, so let you go.
She's like judging him, like, oh, what a weirdo.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on. Let's see. We've got callers on.
Listen, I watch this because it makes me feel better about my own terrible social skills.
Okay. Maureen, she heard Canada is an atheist who wants to talk about sports and says, are there sports where...
Listen, if they're live at the same time as me and I can find a way, I might call in one day. I don't love the idea just because there's two of them and they mute aggressively. Like, yeah, I mean, I might one day, though.
Men and women, where there should be men and women against each other. This is i.e. boxing. So I'm going to need you to like expand on this a little, Maureen, but you are live with Arden and Jovan. What's going on?
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, no, I was listening on your transatlantic show and Lux was talking about the sport. I agree with so much of what she said. I was just trying to wonder that
yeah, sure.
Whether it's a woman or a trans woman, I think there's a couple of sports where you can't see a man in like it wouldn't be fair. I don't think. Am I wrong in this? Like boxing was my thing.
I would just keep boxing by weight class.
Oh, he's such an idiot. Okay, let's keep boxing by weight class and mix men and women together. It's going to be all men. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get very rare women that can keep up with like the lower end of the men. You're just recreating men's sports. He doesn't know anything about this. And he's like jumping in straight away. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I personally, I've met women who can kick my ass.
What a fucking dipshit. What an actual fucking fool.
Pretty easily.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. I know there's women who can box. I don't know. Yeah, weight class. I guess I saw weight class as
Like men can, what is it? A woman has to have a higher like fat percentage in their body than men. For one thing. Like, so a man that's the same weight as a woman probably is leaner, probably is stronger. Obviously still has the various things that come along with developing as a male. Like, this guy is insane. What are you talking about? Just have weight classes. Just put the men in with the women. Like, fucking hell. Good luck, selling that to women, by the way. It's interesting how we males are very, very quick to tell women that they should just share all their sports with men. Interesting. Wait, sly misgendering, calling trans women not women. Where was that? Let me see if I can find it.
yeah.
I personally,
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Whether it's a woman or a trans woman, I think there's a couple of sports where you can't see.
I think I see what you mean, actually. Jesus Christ. Listen, I'd go further. Arden's a man, just like me.
A man in like it wouldn't be fair. I don't think. Am I wrong in this? Like boxing was my thing.
I would just keep boxing by weight class.
She's nodding at like, you're so dumb.
Yeah.
Because I've met women who can kick my ass pretty easily.
Really?
Also, this guy must be a massive pussy if that's the case. I really called him one shit. But like, she called Lux she. Ouch. But I don't know. Like, every woman that I've met that's like the same kind of size and build as me, I tend to be stronger. Like, when I've had jobs that have involved like lifting and moving shit. You know, I had one job where we had to like practically move shop. And like, I was able to keep up with the guys like lifting stuff. Like, a woman the same size as me would try and help me and can't like hold up their end of the thing that I'm holding just fine. I just do it by myself because it's easier. Like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe he's just very out of shape and I'm not even very in shape, quite honestly. But I think I'm stronger than the average woman that's the same size as me, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's women who can box. I don't know. Yeah, weight class. I guess I saw weight class as like you can't do that in like sports where they're like teams.
When I was a kid, I saw my friend, 160-pound sport, who played the sports with me, be knocked across the room by a 60-year-old drunk grandpa. Looked like he only weighed 130. Both went on to play college sports. She actually got her ass whooped by this old drunk grandpa. Yeah, I mean, yeah, what he's saying is moronic. Like, men in general are stronger than women. You have a man the same size as a woman. Most likely the man is going to be stronger.
Sports, like you can't have all, just one size because
Why not?
it just isn't going to work.
Oh, are these people actually down with like just putting the sports together? Are they actually down with this? This is retarded. This is stupid. Like, are these people for real? Maybe I should call in them and ask about fucking sports. Like, I'm not a very confident debater, I'll be honest. But like, this is dumb. There's so many reasons why you can't just do this. And they're like acting like this is the only way. It's fucking retarded. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've been pretty staunchly for co-ed sports. I think we should just do everything by
Of course you have. You're a moron.
skill level, right? We have
Skill level. Listen, how the fuck are they gonna do that exactly? And how is that gonna prevent it just all being men? Like, okay, if you go down far enough in the skill levels, you'll start getting women. Are women gonna want to be competing on those terms? Where they're like at the 10th bracket skill level and below? Or just have their own sports where you're gonna get the best women and the best men, but they're competing separately. You know what I mean? And the other thing about skill level is like, I don't know. I just don't know how you'd measure it. I don't know how you'd organize it in a way that makes sense. I don't know how you'd deal with people that are much stronger, that are perhaps having an off day when it's their turn to qualify. It just doesn't make any sense. And it sounds like a lot more work rather than just splitting the sports like you should be.
Skill markers, like, right? So if we just had everybody take, like, you know, before you are able to compete, you take a bunch of tests, whether
Okay, so a bunch more work, bunch more bureaucracy, bunch more effort that's being put in, instead of just splitting people by sex. What's the point? And then women are like in the lower skill brackets automatically because men are just going to be dominating. So you're just recreating male sports again. Wow, amazing.
they're like, if it's basketball, it might have to do with like your speed, your jump height, like all these metrics. And we just
like basketball. Like, what the fuck, man? Males are like generally taller. This is how you just make men's sports again. I mean, fair enough. Like, I don't know if the WNBA is anywhere near the kind of support that the NBA has, but at least they have their own sports. At least you're not seeing 9 divisions of like men's teams, and then you start seeing a few women further down, and then further down is mostly women. Is that not going to disenfranchise a lot of women? Is that not how we put off a lot of women from even competing? Because it's like, well, what's the point in competing so I can be the fucking 555th seed in my sport? Because I have to deal with all these men that are bigger and stronger than me. Women would literally be killed in top weight classes of combat sports. Quite possibly, yeah. Men already die in the ring rarely. It would get more common. Yeah, I think it probably would, yeah. Have these people seen how tall male basketball players are? Yeah, exactly. Like, this is actually cooked. Why are they saying this stuff so so confidently? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how. And like, whoever runs this fucking show, how are they not saying anything to these people? That some of the beliefs that they spout are complete nonsense. How are the people watching? Oh, please make jovan a regular. Like, what he's saying here is insane. Like, you people will fucking eat anything up. You're in a cult. Like, how the fuck can you fathom what this shit is that they're saying? There is no man's NBA. It is open. Well, I mean, functionally, it's a male category, though, isn't it? Do any women actually ever compete in it?
just have separate leagues per, like, we have an A league, a B league, and a C league.
Yeah, so let's disenfranchise all the women because they start in fucking F league or something like that. That's retarded.
Ah, I never thought of that.
And this person doesn't understand. Like, how are you just going to eat that up? How are you going to eat that up, man?
I do like the idea that some sports are starting to combine more men and women together on teams. Like, you'll see relay races that will have men and women on the same team competing against men.
Yeah, like if there's teams that they can make it kind of fair and it's not like contact sports, I guess. Maybe. I mean, like things like tennis doubles and stuff like that, mixed doubles, I guess. But like competing against each other in that way, hardly any women compete if it was like this. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, do you want to be like 500 seed and below in your sport? And that's probably the best you're ever going to do because all the men are just stronger and better than you. I don't know how many women would want that, quite frankly.
Women. I think that's the way to help make sure that women are in.
Also, it's obvious these people have nothing of value to do, so they think sitting around talking about how to fix sports is doing something good in the world. Yeah, it kind of seems that way. But they only want to fix sports because it's got anything to do with trans people. Like, if there was nothing about trans people that made this an issue, these people wouldn't give a single fuck. There's some women a stronger argument can just as easily contradict their weight class argument because some heavy competitors can still be disadvantaged because they have a rare health issue. Hey, maybe, yeah. And yeah, the problem is so many of these people that call in, they just don't really know much about this stuff. So when they call in, they buy these stupid arguments these people are making with little pushback. And it's so infuriating. It's so painful to listen to. And it obviously seems to inflate these people's egos. I mean, there's Jovan Bradley. Most of the people that call him in are not very intelligent. And it probably just fuels the fire, makes him think he's like smart at this when he's not. Want to see if Arden can let go. Yeah, let's see. I've been talking too much.
Included, trans women especially get included onto a team.
Yeah, I think, I mean,
Yeah, but how are you including the trans people? Let's say it's mixed tennis doubles. Is the trans woman the male or the female? How are you gonna... Because the thing is, you can't just be, oh, let's have a team where it's a man, a woman, a trans man, because there's just not enough of the last two. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you'd make that fair. Because I mean, if you've got a tennis mixed doubles, and one of the teams is a man and a trans woman, then that's unfair, potentially. That's going to be an unfair advantage. The callers think they're having a good faith conversation. Yeah, they probably do. Which sucks. Like, people shouldn't be getting bought in by this shit. They should understand that they're being bullshitted by people that don't know what they're talking about.
To kind of touch on what the initial part about, like, I think what you're touching on, Maureen, is that, like, from a purely statistical sense, normatively, in American culture today, men seem to perform better at certain tasks than women.
Why are you putting it that way? You have to preface it in about a million ways to say what everyone knows is the truth.
What you're touching on, Maureen, is that, like, from a purely statistical sense, normatively, in American culture today, men seem to perform better at certain tasks.
It's not American culture. Sports is separated that way around the world. Do you think that, in America, women are generally worse at sports than men, but in Kenya, it's like the other way around? No, it's the same deal. It's the same fucking deal.
Than women. And I think it's fair to say that happens in a statistical way. The problem is that
that happens in a statistical way. Okay, bro.
Are exceptions to pretty much every statistical trend. That's why they're statistical and not like a law, right? And so we're talking about...
Well, most of the sports have rules against trans women competing with women, but sure.
Like regulations that end up banning entire groups of people over...
Yeah, entire groups of people, which when it suits these people... It's like about 10 people. Oh, you're banning like 10 college athletes. What's the point in any of this? But suddenly now it's banning an entire group of people. It doesn't make any sense. Sometimes there's almost none of them, so it doesn't matter. Other times we're fucking over this whole group of people. It's so dishonest.
For something that isn't actually really directly relevant to the performance in the sport.
What?
Not like a law, right? And so we're talking about like regulations that end up banning entire groups of people over something that isn't actually really directly relevant to the performance in the sport.
If we're talking about trans people, that is completely insane. There are so many male advantages that are known and fucking measured and understood fucking scientifically, and that have been measured in terms of how male strength compares to female strength with things like HRT. That's batshit.
Like Jovan was saying, if you want to do skill level or height or weight classes or anything like that, that seems to me to be something that's directly relevant to your capacity.
Yeah, like the skill level thing makes so little sense. Like, let's say the Olympics worked on skill level and nothing else. You'd have to have some kind of standardized thing where you can rank all the different athletes from all around the world, rather than them all having their own kind of method of determining who's the best. You'd have to like standardize it in some way. It just comes across like it's like throwing a mountain of fucking work and bureaucracy in order to satiate like how many trans athletes again? Because I agree, there's not very many. I'll agree to that. It's interesting how these people use like the numbers when it suits them. But this is just so ridiculous.
In the sport, whereas your sex or your gender is just kind of like, probably.
In US schools, we only play women's volleyball, meaning it's completely calibrated for female size and strength, where it's dangerous for a male to participate. Is it one of those things where like some of the sports you play as girls in the US are different to some of the sports you play in as boys? Because we had some of that. Like, you know, the girls would play things like hockey and rounders and stuff like that in like PE, And we wouldn't. We'd play like rugby and football and stuff like that. And football is soccer here, obviously.
It was a useful shorthand in some cases, but I think it's just become universalized. People over apply it because it was useful in a few cases, and now it's
There's
just
also been some
directly relevant to your capacity in the sport, whereas your sex or your gender is just kind of like probably was a useful shorthand in some cases, but I think it's just.
What are we saying? Your sex is your sex is like a huge part of it. What the fuck is going on here? I'm like shocked. I shouldn't be anymore. I already know this guy is a fucking retard. I already know this person is dishonest as fuck. But like, this is like blowing my mind. Females play softball, males play baseball. Yeah. I was thinking it was similar to the UK. Like, we do similar things here. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, if you bring a male into that sport that is calibrated for female athletes, you could end up with problems. Like, whatever ball you're using, they can hit it harder, for example. Like, things like that. Okay, let me try and understand what the fuck this person is saying. This is utterly bizarre to me.
A statistical trend. That's why they're statistical and not like a law, right? And so
Yeah.
we're talking about like regulations that end up banning entire groups of people over something that isn't actually really directly relevant to the performance in the sport. Like,
So we're talking about sex here, I presume.
like Jovan was saying, if you want to do skill level or height or weight classes or anything like that, that seems to me to be something that's directly relevant to your capacity in the sport, whereas your sex or your gender is just kind of like
Like, how can you say that when male athletes are just at every turn? It's so bizarre.
probably was a useful shorthand in some cases, but I think it's just become universalized. People over apply it because it was useful in a few cases, and now it's just
also
This is utterly dumb. I don't know. I can't keep re-listening to this, pretending that this person is making a point worth listening to. That's just dumb. Okay, let's try your way then. Let's make all sports co-ed and do it by skill level. And then ask yourself why all the top skill levels are just men. Like, ask yourself that. Like, actually do it for yourself and see. It's not going to work.
been some sports. I really wish I could remember which one specifically, and I'll try to look it up before we get too far away from it. There have been sports where the reason that they're not mixed, the reason why the sports have not mixed, crazy. The reason why the sports are split up by gender is because the women were beating the men. So men said, "Well,
There's like a handful of sports where women are like competitive with males. There might be the odd one where women do better, but then that affirms that sex matters then. That affirms that the sexes have different characteristics, which might advantage one in one way and then advantage another in another. So like, you're actually making the opposite point.
we're going to gender the sport because we don't." I think figure skating is one of them. The reason figure skating was split up is because women were winning, and so men were like, "Well, we can't have this."
Yeah, interesting how figure skating is not like strength based or anything like that, as far as I know. That's a very different kind of thing to say boxing, which was the example from earlier. You're actually like reinforcing your own you're reinforcing the wrong shit for what you're advocating for. Does Arden even believe in sex? I have no idea. No fucking idea. This person clearly believes they are a woman. Probably believes that they are literally female, which they are not. This is a male person.
And so they split up.
Well,
the
I
sport.
believe that.
Maybe something like chess. Hey, maybe. There's some things that like it probably wouldn't make much difference if you didn't split it by sex. But the problem is, if you want to enter into a sport where your sex does matter and you're a male person, but you're trans, so you want to compete with women, and you're gonna have a bunch of advantages because you're male, then that's just kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? Not a competitive sport. Do they do? Is it not? I thought it might be, but I mean, the point still stands. I mean, do we know that women don't have certain advantages. He's acting as if it's just random. Whereas just some random sports that women are better at and some random sports that men are better at. If you actually look at it, you'd be able to tell like what these sports men have the advantage on have in common and what kind of advantages men have from that. But someone like this is never going to do any of that.
Yeah. Men like to control things, don't they?
Personally, all
Absolutely.
sports are too easy.
Men like to control things. Well, this guy wants it to be all men's sports, so I don't know.
Basketball should be done over Shark Tank.
I like your idea about the skill levels. To control things, don't they?
Personally, all
Absolutely.
sports are too easy. Basketball should be done
I-
over Shark Tank.
I like your idea about the skill levels.
He's like starts pouting after it makes a stupid joke. Yeah, it's well funny.
Should be done over Shark Tank.
I like your idea about the skill levels. Because
Yeah, it was a good one, bro. Yeah. Anyway.
if a woman comes into even a boxing sport, her skills should be tested. And if she can get up to a certain...
Skill should be tested. How do you test someone's skill? Don't they just train a bunch and then compete and then see how they do? How else do you test someone's skill? And how would, if you're going to put men up against women, how do you test someone's skill in a way that might not be dangerous for the woman? Like, I don't fucking get it. We better not let the Williams play any men. They will just crush them. Oh, yeah. Famously, both went up against a man back to back and lost. And the man was like seed 200 or something.
level, then she should be allowed to do it, whether she's trans or a trans woman or not, or just a woman. You know, I think skill.
Yeah, she's not too happy. She's not too happy by that one.
Would be the thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it to me it always seems just like a sexist argument at a baseline to, like, you're banning trans women because the claim is that men are just universally better 100% of the time.
Which you've acknowledged in statistics. The thing is, if the statistics are like that, probably there's a reason as to why that is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Well, it's just statistically, it seems like there's an advantage, but that's just statistics. Well, of course, if you're not going to look any deeper into it and connect any dots, you seem to... it's like these people want people to think less about this kind of stuff and not dig in deeper into anything and not try and actually understand anything. Because unfortunately, if you do, you have to come away with the belief that putting males into women's sports is a bit fucking nuts.
At every athletic endeavor, I guess. It's such a shame because, like...
And we essentialize this. Like, is this what people are saying?
Just like a sexist argument.
And like sexism? Wouldn't it be more sexist to turn it just back into men's sports by making it skill-based, by using weight classes, and then making it co-ed? That's just making men's sports again. Like, yeah, whoever's saying it's discouraging female athletes. Like, yeah. I mean, what female athlete, rather than being one of the best of like female athletes, are all just lumped in with male athletes, and the best they can hope is to be like seed number 200 or some shit? Is that going to inspire women to want to compete? Or is it just going to go back to sport mostly being a male thing? So, like, I don't know how this person fucking gets off, quite honestly. Mentioning sexism. Like, it's crazy. I'm like losing my mind watching this. I hate these people.
At a baseline to, like, you're banning trans women because the claim is that men are just universally better 100% of the time.
It's not because men are better 100% of the time. It's because males have advantages. Males have specific characteristics that just make them better at most sports compared to women. It's really not hard. But you have to like rephrase it so that it's a nonsensical version of itself. Like, that's what these people do. If you give them an argument, they will misrepresent it and then give it back to you in the hope that you'll accept it. Otherwise, they'll take arguments that others make and then bastardize them to say, well, this is the argument. It doesn't really make any sense. Well, yeah, because that's not the actual argument. And anyone saying that is fucking retarded, which is why people aren't really saying that.
At every athletic endeavor, I guess. It's such a shame.
Yeah, I guess. Like, you know you're lying. You know that you're lying.
Because like you're saying, there are women out there who are going to be like the 1 in a million chance of, 1 in a million is being dramatic, but I'm trying to work on their model. Like, even if we accept everything that
Who's they?
say, there's going to be women who are like,
Okay, listen. When they don't say who they is and they keep mentioning a nebulous they, we're doing triple brackets. That's how it works.
the 1 in a million chance who are better than men, most men at every sort of physical task. Why should they not be allowed to compete and to perform and to earn the accolades? Yeah, go ahead.
What? Why shouldn't they be able to compete with men? Aren't male categories generally open?
If we accept everything that they say, there's going to be women who are like the 1 in a million chance who are better than men, most men at every sort of physical task.
If that's the case, you should be able to find examples easily, because there'll be women that have like crazy records that outstrip men in sports that men are generally advantaged in.
Why should they not be allowed to compete and to perform and to earn the accolades? Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that kind of person, if they want to compete with men, they probably can. Like, people were saying earlier that some men's categories are like open categories. In that case, nothing's stopping them. So what's your point? Oh wait, the point is to dance around the idea that males have certain intrinsic advantages over women. Oh, it's so painful. It's so painful.
Yeah, go ahead. Jump in.
And it's not even true when you look at it on a sex-based level either, because they'll always tell you, well, females will always lose to males, but then you have boxers like.
Who's saying that? Oh my God, you're such a liar. That's not what anyone's saying. Females will always lose to male. That's not what anyone's saying. You're like so fucking dishonest.
Yeah, go ahead. Jump in.
And it's not even true when you look at it.
They can't like present these arguments honestly.
On a sex-based level either, because they'll always tell you, well, females will always lose to males, but
like, who is telling you this? Who is they here?
then you have boxers like Patricio Manuel who goes.
Patricio Manuel, pretty sure he's the one that like won like 3 fights and lost 1 fight, all against a bunch of complete nobodies who mega lols in like the featherweight category or something. And I don't know if he's on T or not. That might have helped. Yeah, this person's 39 years old. They have done 4 fights. This is a trans man. They've won 3 by decision, lost 1 by knockout. None of these people are anybody. Look at this. Like, who are any of these people? What are their seeds? Are these people any good in the first place? Yeah, you've probably got the odd female, especially if they're taking tea or whatever, that might beat the odd man. But this person's nobody. Like, Golden Boy Fight Night. Like, won by technical decision because one of them got cut. Like, who is this person? This is a nobody. And they're a super featherweight, between 126 pounds and 130 pounds. I'm pretty sure I am too heavy to be a fucking super featherweight. I'm like 140-ish, I think. So I'm too heavy to do this. You're fighting like fucking manlets. I'm sorry, this is not what this is not an own. This is not a good point at all. This guy's nobody who fought nobodies.
Was undefeated against.
What? Oh, why did I close it? Let's try this again, because I think he's lying out his ass.
Accolades. Yeah, go ahead. Jump in.
And it's not even true when you look at it on a sex-based level either, because they'll always tell you, well, females will always lose to males, but then you have boxers like Patricio Manuel who goes undefeated against.
Goes undefeated. Well, between 2018 and 2023, He did 3 fights and won them all. He's not even undefeated anymore. The last one that he did, he lost. And that was almost a year ago. What is this shit? What are you doing? Such a blagger. Doesn't know anything about anything. Just reads a bunch of stuff that affirms his side. Doesn't think for himself, seemingly. This is just blagging.
Cis men, right? So it's not even true.
Yeah, cis men weighing less than 130 pounds.
on a male female on a sex basis.
Yeah. The idea that men will never lose against women is untrue, but no one was saying it in the first place, Jovan.
It's not true.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, they're so upset.
And then she just fucking accepts his bullshit. No, do not accept a word that these people say. This is like shocking.
With trans women not, being in sports with women. Have they ever told a trans woman that she can't compete with men? Like, what would their answer be there? Because they don't believe she's a woman. So, I mean, what would happen?
Yeah, what if the sex differences don't matter? Why aren't trans women just competing with men? Because who cares anyway, right?
But in that case over there, I don't know.
I mean, I think they say you can compete with the men, but, if a trans woman tries to go compete with a man in a transphobic sports league, I have a feeling that's going to be not exactly the most welcoming environment.
What? Are you fucking for real? Are you serious? That boxer got knocked out in like 20 seconds when fighting someone. Wasn't there to pad their... Is that real? Jesus Christ. So that would be this Joshua Bryan Reyes person. 1 round. Holy shit. I think you might be right there. Holy shit. And that's what we're going with. Because, yeah, we can't... What you would say, if you're being honest, is if you're a trans woman competing with the man, you're going to be disadvantaged because you're taking HRT, which is going to lower your muscle mass. And Arden fucking knows all this. Come on. I would be willing to bet Arden has made that exact argument before. But you can't do that here because you're pretending that men and women don't have material differences.
And for us, like, I can't imagine walking into a men's locker room being
That's retarded. That's ridiculous.
like, hey, bros, you ready for the big game?
What, being part of a team? I mean... oh, kill me.
Like, I don't think that's going to go over well.
But even further, imagine how much they would lose their minds if a trans man who has gone through like full transition, right, were to go compete against women, like cis women.
Well, that wouldn't work because they'd be taking testosterone. Testosterone is a steroid. That's called juicing.
In almost any sport, like they're going to look at that and be like, well, you can't compete here.
Yes, because they're juicing, Jovan. Because testosterone is like... Oh, Paul's back. I still can't see you in my chat. I'm so sorry. I've only just noticed, but keep spouting off. Keep spouting off while I'm probably saying loads of shit you agree with anyway. God, this guy's stupid.
Women in almost any sport, like they're going to look at that and be like, well, you can't compete here. So they're never consistent.
Yeah, because they're juicing, you retard. They're never consistent. We still don't know who they is. Like, he doesn't even say why. Why is it they wouldn't be allowed? It's not because they're men suddenly. It's because they're juicing. And, like, testosterone will convey certain advantages to you. Which is the whole point of why men tend to be stronger than women. Because men have a lot more testosterone in their system. Holy shit. These people are so unbelievably dishonest.
Yeah, and I think sports should always be about the skill. Who's the best at what they do?
Yeah, I personally don't care if somebody loses at the who's gonna win competition. Like, I don't really care. Like, there were a lot. Like, I don't if who's
at what they do.
Yeah, I personally don't care if somebody loses at the who's gonna win competition. Like, I don't really care. Like, there were a lot. Like, I don't if people bring it up all the time. They're like, well, how do you feel about these cis women who lost? I'm like, they should have been better.
Yeah, they should have been better against males that have advantages. Like, Jesus Christ. Not surprised that a guy like this doesn't have a shred of empathy for women that might become disenfranchised in their own sports because they're being put up against men who are like twice their height and shit like that. This is pathetic.
I don't know what to tell you.
I think the person they're talking to doesn't want to make them mad. Yeah, this is the problem. People are too nice to these people. You shouldn't be nice to these people. Like, you shouldn't just spout off at them because you'll probably get kicked. But like, you have to approach them as bullshit artists because that's what they are.
It's a sport.
I know. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah. Well, can I? Yeah, go ahead.
It's okay. I was just going to add one more point that, and then I want to hear put a pin in, write it down if you have to. I don't want you to lose what you were going to say, Maureen. But the only thing I wanted to add is that it bothers me constantly that there's also like no real ceiling for men in most athletics. Like, sure, they legalize like, endogenous doping or something like that, right? But when it's someone like Michael Phelps who has some freakish genetic abnormality that allows him to be phenomenal in sport.
This dipshit has watched the same shitty Jovan video that I've watched. Michael Phelps has nothing to do with this.
He's just rewarded. He's given medals.
Yeah.
But when there are cis women who might have some sort of like intersex condition or some sort of biological
which makes them male, like Caster Semenya? Please mention Caster Semenya, please.
Reason for them being amazing, they're kicked out of the sport. They're told they're not woman enough. Like
who? Like who? Give us an example.
Why is it that there's no ceiling for men, but women get kicked?
You're not going to give an example. Why are you going to mention Caster Semenya? Caster Semenya, who has internal testicles and has fathered children. Does that give you a hint as to what sex that person actually is? Maybe there's a reason as to why this is happening.
Kicked out when they're good enough.
Like, Michael Phelps doesn't have a DSD. So how do you compare the two?
Like,
who was the black woman who was the runner who was barred from running?
Oh my God, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because
she had
what was it?
Of course you're blanking on the name because it's a man.
Higher bone density?
Chat will know. I can't remember the name right now, but yes, there is a runner.
Oh my God, please say it. Please say it. Please say it.
Is who I'm thinking of specifically, but sorry, do you remember what you had, Maureen? I hope I didn't cause you to lose that.
No, yeah, no, I think...
There we go. There we go. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Hang on a sec. Caster Semenya has the intersex condition 5-alpha reductase 2 deficiency. Only affects genetic males with XY chromosomes. These people have internal undescended testes. If you have testicles, you're a male. This person has children. Like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't know where to find the bit about her children. This person has 2 children. They found viable sperm in their own testicles. That means that they're male. Sex is primarily about your reproductive function. If you can produce sperm and have children through those sperm, you are a male. That's just how it is. Okay, I can't seem to find it. Yeah, they share 2 children with their wife. Don't want their children to compete in athletics. Amazing. Yeah, so identified as female at birth, XY chromosomes, undescended testes. This person is male. That right there is why they are not allowed in. It's because this person is male. Like, this fucking retard has absolutely no idea who this person is. And they'll just blindly, no, that's a woman, no, that's a woman, no, that's a woman. Yeah, but it's not, though. It's not. Oh, so she's saying they don't produce anything. Does that mean you're not the parent? So how did they have children then? Because they're saying their testicles don't produce anything. But then if you have testicles, you're male. Like, that's just how it is. There's a content creator on YouTube with that condition who openly talks about learning about their condition when they never got their period and were confused. Yeah, often that's the case. These people with intersex conditions or DSDs or whatever, they often don't realize it until later on. They've had a child. So insemination, but I don't know if they got the semen from Castor Semenya. It doesn't actually matter because this person, by their own admission, has testicles. Like, how many women have testicles? Like, descended or no, you know what I mean? Those things you have inside you if you're a woman, those aren't fucking testicles. Yeah, either this person does actually produce sperm and these kids belong to this person, like they're biologically this person's kids, or their wife is the mother and they're not the father. The fact that Castor used to be referred to as a woman with higher testosterone levels warped everyone's brain. Yeah, well, part of the thing is, like, if you don't know any better, it's confusing. Like, I certainly didn't buy straight away that Iman Khalif must have been a man. I think it's quite possible now, based on, like, evidence. But, like, to start with, you never really know what you're looking at until you have, like, details that, you know, will you ever get? Who knows? Someone brings up DSD as an argument. My eyes crazy over it. Affects 1 in 64,000 live births. Yeah, it's annoying. I ended up learning a whole lot about DSDs because I constantly see these arguments, constantly pretending that sex isn't binary because of that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to find out, but this person, they have testicles, they produce testosterone at higher levels, they have XY chromosomes. This is not a woman, and this fucking retard doesn't understand what he's talking about.
I think we agree. We agree on the sports thing. I think there are ways to make sure that trans women and women get to compete at the highest level. Can I ask a question about the last caller?
Yeah.
The identity politics question. I think you guys are a little confused over there because I look at Trumpy and I don't see anybody caring about his identity and then just voting on what they think his issues are. But then when it came to Harris, I really think she lost because she was a woman and they didn't care about her.
She lost because she's a woman. Didn't Hillary Clinton, one of the most hated fucking candidates in recent memory, still win the popular vote? But what's her face? Fucking Kamala Harris lost because she's a woman. Like, nah, come on, bro.
Her issues. So I don't know what your identity politics over there is doing.
Yeah, I think this is what Jovan was saying earlier, right? That, like, they play identity politics worse than us every time.
Yeah, the right.
Oh, it's this two sides thing. Why are we talking about the right? Why are we talking about what other people are saying? They're talking about the issue. Oh yeah, because none of those people are actually present, and this way you can lie about them. So weak.
Cares more about identity politics than the left. That's why they bring it up for literally everything. That's why like half of the right's criticism of Kamala Harris was, well, she slept her way to the top. Because they don't.
Is that even true?
They don't care about her policies. They care that she's.
You can just spout off whatever you want, as long as you're like shitting on the other side who is not present right now. Crazy.
A woman.
But why do they care about that? But they don't care a damn about anything that Trump has done in his life, his identity. It's like ridiculous.
I'll tell you the truth, Maureen. I'll tell you the truth here.
Oh, she's a black woman. Okay, how come Obama won like landslide victories then?
They're sexist and they're racist.
Yep.
That Trump has done in his life, his identity. It's like ridiculous.
I'll tell you the truth, Maureen. Tell you the truth here. They're sexist and they're racist.
Wow. Amazing insight from Jovan Bradley once again. True genius of our time who thinks that Castor Semenya is a woman and thinks that we should just combine all the sports together and do it based on skill level, whatever that means. Like, this is insane. Utterly crazy. She had 2 oppression points. Oh, okay, no, I'm convinced. I can't tell if you're like joking or if you actually think that because she's a black woman, that's why she lost. I can't tell if you're joking. Obama was fucking useless. That's not really the point I was making, but I don't expect you to keep up. Don't worry, Paul.
Yep.
Well,
And that's what it always comes back to, is just being able to like write a bunch of people off as something you don't like. It's just about like judging people, as many people as possible. I actually despise this person. And I despise this person too. They're both gross.
this is true. I've said that for a while. I've thought that the MAGA crowd has been just a little too white nationalistic and a little too religious. And the thing is, they call themselves Christians and they never act Christian.
Speak on it.
Ridiculous.
Like we're just generalizing. When we generalize trans people, when we generalize like black people or like leftists, that's not okay. But we'll do this on the other side. That was one of the things that started striking me. Like, for some reason, I thought when I was younger that like the left was like the side that didn't generalize, that actually thought for themselves. But then when you actually dig into it, plenty of these people are just as intolerant and just as prone to generalization as right-wingers. And plenty of right-wingers don't think the way that these people think they do.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Snap laws for you, Maureen. Yeah, we agree. It's frustrating. And all trans activists are advocating for is, back to you, just to tie it back into this fourth question, is just that we develop leagues where we consider fairness and inclusion equally. Like,
is that true? Like, I don't know, man.
I'm not asking you to pair a Olympic level skiing man with a like 5-year-old girl who's learning how to ski in her kindergarten class.
Well, when you put it like that, it sounds perfectly reasonable. Jesus Christ. No one's accusing you of doing that, Arden.
Right? I want fairness in sports, but I also don't want to just wholesale ban trans women as a category or trans people as a category.
But they're not. You can compete with the men. And your only defense in this conversation, at least, was like, well, what if the team's transphobic? Like, you're not even banned. You just can't compete with women for reasons that you've been pretending don't exist the entire fucking call.
Just advocating for inclusiveness along with fairness.
You're lying.
Formula that will achieve both of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It just doesn't work. Sometimes a smaller population gets fucked over based on the needs of the larger population. That's just how it is. And if you're trans, you made that decision to transition. I did too. So I'm like bucking like society in some ways. So some things are just more some things are just more complicated for me. That's just how it is. You're going to have to take the L occasionally because trans people aren't that much of the population. Trans athletes are like even less of the population of trans people than like gay athletes are of gay people, because gay people just generally aren't as interested in sports. Like, it's absolutely preposterous. If it was any other group of people, you'd be saying, oh, maybe they should just not be able to compete because it's not really fair. It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb.
And I think they're rolling back on their promise to make sure, like in colleges, that women get fair, the money is split, they're going like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. So they're making it worse for women to compete. They're not giving them the backing that they need. So it's just getting worse.
I did get the name of, there were 2 black women. It was Caster Semenya.
Yep, not a woman, literally. Testicles, XY chromosomes. Same as you, same as Arden, same as me before my surgery at least.
And yes. Christine Mboma.
Let's have a look. So testosterone levels, XY disorders of sexual development, Is that what this person actually has, though? A medical assessment, higher testosterone levels for a genetic condition. Which condition? Guess it doesn't know. Yeah, so the controversy, testosterone levels explicitly applies to intersex athletes with DSDs, such as Semenya. But this person has XX chromosomes. Yeah, so this was controversial anyway. And like, I don't... What even point are you making by including this person? Like, yeah, the odd person's going to get fucked over whatever happens. Yeah, they have to do their due diligence.
I think it's how you pronounce
familiar.
it. Both are cis women who were banned.
No, they're not. Oh my God, you're a liar. One of them might be. The other one is not. They're male.
And because they had higher testosterone levels, just like
Yeah, why did Caster Semenya have higher? Oh my God, I hate this guy.
naturally higher testosterone. So they don't actually care about making it fair because
Mate, you don't care about the truth because you don't know who Caster Semenya is and what her deal is.
why they don't care even if you're a cis woman, they're still going to kick you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you listed two people, one of whom is not even a cis woman. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so there might be one example so far where a woman's been unfairly like targeted because of the testosterone levels thing. And it seems like there was challenges to it anyway on the basis this person has XX chromosomes. So was she even kicked out? Seems like there was a controversy about it. But like, I don't know, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. They're sexist.
Oh no. You should not be calling these people. You're not equipped for this. Oh my God.
The sports. And your sports is getting worse over there because it looks to me like the Saudi Arabians are just going to move in and try to buy up every sport they can. And we know how they feel about women's rights.
I haven't seen what Saudi Arabia's bought, but Trump is...
Oh, yeah. Don't forget. These people are like staunch atheists. If this was talking about like a Christian country, they'd probably be all over this argument. But they're talking about a Muslim country, so they have to like be ignorant, you know? Do they think men can take steroids? The same thing could happen if it was male sports. Yeah. I mean, if you're juicing, yeah. I mean, No, Michael Phelps. I'm thinking of Lance Armstrong. Never mind.
Move in and try to buy up every sport they can. And we know how they feel about women's rights.
I haven't seen...
Yeah, because it's a Muslim country. They can't really weigh in.
What Saudi Arabia's bought, but Trump is so cozy with them, it doesn't surprise me that they might be investing in like American sports teams or something. So
there we go. Conspiracy theories.
They've taken over F1 and they're taking over golf, and they've got their eye on a lot of sports, I think, because that's where the money is, right? So yeah, I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't think they're going to back too many women's teams, that's for sure. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thanks for calling, Maureen. We appreciate you. You have a nice night. Bye.
You too. Bye.
I was touching that last part with a 10-foot.
They know nothing about who owns any sports team. They know nothing about sports. I'm not the most knowledgeable. I only have so much like knowledge. Like most of that is like from being when I was younger, you know. And I was never good at anything, so it never stuck with me. But like I know enough to know that these people are absolutely full of shit.
Paul.
I was a little bit nervous it was going to go. I didn't think it steered in the direction that I thought it was about to, but...
that's fascinating. Let's listen to these two people talk about the conversation they just had. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so I kind of... You guys hear me?
Jesse, you are live with Arden Jovan. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, coming through just fine.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of like owe you guys like a...
I'm so sorry. Someone is... I don't even know what they're fucking doing. Holy shit. Anyway.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, coming through just fine.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of like owe you guys like a little, like, I guess, apology / explanation, because I've never done anything like this, and I was just watching Jovan's channel like right before, and he had so many people on that were just like to me they just sounded absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. He gets mostly morons that call into him. That makes him sound smart. But anyone that actually knows what he's talking about knows when he's like just completely bullshitting, like the Castor Semenya thing. This happens all the time. It's not a one-time thing. He said mentioned Castor Semenya and was wrong. He does this frequently. Like, I don't know, like any of the videos that I've done, like watch any of them, like fucking hell. This is a pattern for this guy. And he's so arrogant to call himself like a trans ally when he's full of shit. And he just routinely comes out with wrong information.
And I just like, yeah, and I was like really curious. And then so he said to come over to this channel. And so I looked you guys up. And then, yeah, like your channel's description for this video said what you guys were discussing. So that's why I put that as what I wanted to discuss.
Oh, what is in the description? It's probably last week's video.
Yeah, it's like, are trans women real women or something like that, basically.
Oh, no, that's
true.
We're talking about that topic. We're talking about anything trans related tonight. So if you want to do trans women or real women, go for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have like an opinion on it. I just kind of wanted to be like educated. Like, how would you define something like real woman? How do you define that?
So
I have my own definition of woman, so I don't know.
Oh, so this was there was a Ray Alex Williams video. I don't know if it's from this specifically, but I have a feeling we're going to hear his definition.
Yeah, no, hit it.
I'd love to hear it.
Sure. The definition I use is an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the female sex.
Yeah, so what Ray Alex Williams' critique of this was that it requires cognition. So if you've got someone who's not able to fathom that kind of thing, they have something wrong with them, they have barely a brain or something like that, then you can't describe them that way. And then you default back to biology, presumably. Like, this is dumb to me. Whatever their personal schema is, like, let's get it again.
I don't know what arden is.
Yeah, no, hit it.
I'd love to hear it.
Sure. The definition I use is an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the female sex.
Yeah, so a woman, I guess technically we've got female in there rather than woman. But it's whatever they think a woman is. Whatever they think a woman is, and their gender identity aligns with it. Which is ridiculous. Because that makes woman completely subjective. And then anyone can just call themselves a woman. So we just run into the same problem over and over again. You can't just call yourself something and you are that thing. It doesn't make any sense.
Which is a definition that a friend of mine, Katie, shout out to Katie.
Yeah, your friend sounds like a moron.
Katie crafted out of like, sociology and psychology. So it's a definition
Yeah, you're not selling it. That just sounds dumb and pretentious.
Based in that.
I think that one is honestly superior to mine. I've used some iteration of kind of influenced by both my own stuff and Rationality Rules has given a definition that I really liked.
Rationality Rules. Is that a man as well? Are we going on a bunch of men's definition of what women know?
But I think your definition is more concise, so I'll probably just start articulating that because I think it conveys the exact same thing. But some of the
yeah, basically, if you call yourself one, that's what that means. You get to decide what a woman means and then decide whether that's what you are or not. It's what you call yourself.
Of like, oh, well, no, I had it listed, but honestly, I'm just going to roll with Jovan's. It makes a lot more sense. So
God, how bad was your fucking definition? Jesus Christ.
Let's stick with that for the purposes of this call.
Right. Yeah. So that's like psychology, right? Like it's not biology, and like that's the differentiation.
Yeah, the problem is woman is a sex term because it means an adult human female. They're trying to define it in a way that avoids talking about biology in any way, shape, or form.
Yes
right?
and no. Yes
Like,
and no. Gender.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not talking about gender. Woman is a sex term.
Gender is a psychosocial concept, so it has both linkings in our like neurobiology, and it has linkings in like culture and like society as well. So it's both.
I would say,
like,
just to build on that real quick, Jesse, just to kind of give some context, I would also say that I would consider it like, well, I would say it's gender is distinct from sex. To be a woman is distinct from being a female. I would not say they're orthogonal. Like they're not unrelated. Like obviously there's clearly a very large correlation between the two things most of the time. Sex, I would consider it like, on that real quick, Jesse, just to kind of give some context. Perfect. I would also say that I would consider it like, well, I would say it's gender is distinct from sex.
Gender is not distinct from sex. Gender is derived from sex. If you delete sex out of existence, gender goes too.
To be a woman is distinct from being a female. I would not say they're orthogonal. Like they're not from sex. To be a woman is distinct.
Yeah. To me, woman is not a gender term. And you can't separate being a woman from being a female. That doesn't make any sense.
From being a female, I would not say they're orthogonal. Like they're not unrelated. Like obviously there's clearly a very large
How can you be a woman without being a female? Calling yourself a woman, deciding that you're a woman, identifying as a woman, which means calling yourself a woman.
Correlation between the two things most of the time. But go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah. I just was wondering about the neurobiological component.
That's completely useless. We would just have to invent a new word to mean adult human female. Yeah, that's the thing. All this like gender abolition stuff in particular, wouldn't we just default back to acknowledging like sex? Like we try and get rid of all that stuff. It'll just come straight back. Because most people are heterosexual. Most people have kind of an evolutionary thing where they want to distinguish the people they want to have sex with and potentially recreate with, and the people that they don't because they're other guys or other women. It's a bit ridiculous.
Like, is there like something I can look at or like read about that?
Yeah, so there have been some, there's not, it's not extensive yet. There's been some studies into hormone washes in gender and how hormone washes in utero. So like when you're in your parent's stomach, like wow, some hormone washes.
When your parent is going to say mothers and had to change it.
So like when you're in your parent's stomach, like wow.
And you mean womb, not stomach, by the way.
Some hormone washes can affect your gender identity.
Affect your gender identity? But your gender identity is what you call yourself. That doesn't make any sense.
There's also, if you look up things like epigenetics. So epigenetics is this idea that like things that happen to us socially will literally rewire our brain, and then that can be passed down through.
That doesn't have anything to do with your sex.
Generations. Like that's kind of.
Is that wait, hang on. What is this? Is this like generational trauma? Is this trying to like legitimize generational trauma? I don't know. I've never heard of this being true.
Is this idea that like things that happen to us socially will literally rewire our brain, and then that can be passed down through generations. Like that's kind of how gender is, because our brain.
Like I have no idea if that's true, and that's not how gender is. Gender is like stereotypes and cultural aspects of sex.
Naturally gender things. It's kind of the default of humans' brains. Yeah. And that's just because
like even in
as a society of gender stuff for so long. Yeah. Yeah. We very much like our brains will just instinctively categorize things. So that's part of where that comes into play.
Yeah, I grew up around a lot of rednecks, so I've always wondered why like they refer to their cars as women, you know? Like I'm just like
ain't that like, crazy, Jesse? They can refer to their cars. They can refer to their cars as a woman, but say a trans.
Are they referring to their car as a woman or just using female pronouns? I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, it's exhausting me.
Trans woman is a woman and they lose their minds.
oh yeah, that's
This concept has been around for a few years, but there's no proof. Fair enough. I'm suspicious personally. I certainly don't expect Jovan Bradley to have any information to hand. He just says so much stuff that's wrong. Again, like, I've watched videos of him before, and he'll just say the most wrong shit constantly and like get it by people because they just don't know about this kind of stuff. And it's so frustrating being trans myself, watching these like male trans allies that don't actually know as much as they think they do. But then when you try and tell these kinds of people, it's fucking painful. It's just impossible. Like, I've spoken to Alec Gunter, I've spoken to fucking First Amanda. They just don't listen. They don't seem to think there's a problem with people of the demographic that they're so fucking flagrantly trying to simp for and grift towards, telling you that you're wrong about a whole bunch of stuff. It's so frustrating.
It's awesome.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, man, like, you know, I don't really, dude, I pay as little attention to the world around me as is possible to get by with, you know, like I basically like hide in my turtle shell, you know, like I just go to work and then go home and like hang out with my family and stuff. And so I don't really pay attention to like I don't like corporations in general. So like, I don't have like a positive opinion on Trump. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't care. Like, I just fucking, to me, it's just so much.
I like how people that say that they voted for Trump because of eggs are like cringe or whatever. But then people who say stuff like this, you know, will nod along with like, okay, sure, bro. Kind of seems to me like a lot of people on both sides don't really think very hard about their positions, but sure.
Other rich asshole running the country. Like,
I think
it's been that way as long as I've been alive.
So, I mean, I'm going to just mute you for a second because we have some background sounds, but I'll let you put you back on in a second. Yeah, I think it's frustrating. I appreciate that it is too much and almost none of it applies to you. So you're like, why do I really care? I just want to go home and get my shit done and mind my own business. I genuinely appreciate that. And that is why this show exists, because I realize that the vast majority of people, Jesse, I think are in your shoes, where they are people who have no relationship to any of this. And they just...
Yeah, so they're ripe for fucking indoctrination. Got it. Yeah.
See it on the news, and that's...
Hey, make sure you like the stream. I'm probably not going on much longer, but make sure you like the stream. Check the links in my description. You can super chat via Streamlabs. You can check out some music that I've made. You can... What's the word? Subscribe on Twitch if you use Twitch. I'm monetized on that. You can also join my Discord. Anyway.
All their only interaction with it, but it's frustrating because I don't get a choice. You know, trans people don't get a choice to not...
Well, no, you did. You chose to transition. Every one of us did.
Be involved, to not be aware. Like, there's different laws. If I'm flying to one state and I have to do a stop in another state, whether I can pee in each state is a different... I have...
Whether you can pee in any... Like, what do you mean, whether you can pee? You're acting as if you're banned from every bathroom when you're just not. Does this person ever tell the truth about anything ever? Does this person ever represent anything honestly?
I have to know the laws in each state for whether or not I can take a fucking piss. Like, it's complete...
Well, you can anywhere. You just might have to use the men's in some places. Or make enough of an effort that people won't notice that you're actually a man. Women don't get a choice in being born female. That is very true.
Ridiculous, and I do appreciate where...
Yeah, that is ridiculous, because you're lying again.
You know, your position. I just, I want people to care.
Well, I understand.
Most of us don't know the whole law that surrounds all the gender identity babble, sorry. Well, that's fine by itself, but when you're pretending to be like a trans ally, or when you're like pretending to stick up for trans people, or even when you're calling in to people like this, you probably need like some level of understanding.
Because it's insane.
Yeah, I
don't get a moment to breathe. Like, I would love to just hang out with my reptiles all day and not fuck with any of this nonsense. But instead, I'm here debating.
Mate, you can. You probably should be, because this is a waste of time. You're making fools of yourself. And the only people you're convincing Are people who are also too stupid to know any better? Like half the people calling in.
Dating people for a living. It happened for 4 years. So.
Right. Yeah, no,
all day and not fuck with any of this nonsense. But instead, I'm here debating people for a living. It happened for 4 years. So.
Right.
Acting as if you have to do that. I mean, you're making money off of it, obviously. Jesus Christ. I hate these people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, essentially, you know, if other people that it's not necessarily relevant to aren't aware of the subject, then it just sort of makes it, like, less relevant. Like, you need people who it isn't necessarily affecting to get behind the movement, because that makes it more, I guess, prevalent, more available to the average person.
Yeah, and I think if I can do one more little bit to cement...
I'd rather be chatting with my reptiles, but I have to complain about the piss police on YouTube. Nice. Doesn't Fat Dillahunty make enough money to get you both by? You don't have to do any of this, Arden. Listen, maybe you should think about this thing that you were saying just now, and think about whether any of this is worth it. I mean, it seems like that's rather what you'd not be doing. So why bother? Just let fucking Matt Dillahunty do this shit. He's funnier than you anyway. He's no more honest, but he's funnier than you.
Home why you and other people should care. It's because all of these laws affect you. When they have a bathroom law about, trans women can't use female facilities or something like that, all of those laws affect cis people. In fact,
how so?
I would argue that they're going to, in fact, impact cis people to a certain extent more often than they're going to impact trans people.
That's fucking retarded. How often are cis people, if that's what we're calling them, actually mistaken for trans? How often does that happen?
When it comes to the socially enforced things like bathroom laws, obviously healthcare laws are only going to affect trans people, really. But
yeah, so you didn't even show how. Like, that's bullshit. Might affect a few people. For the most part, those interactions where someone disbelieves someone else initially are probably perfectly friendly, and they realize their mistake quickly enough.
Yeah, when it comes to like the bathroom laws, that means I'm not saying you do want to wear a Jesse, but if you ever wanted to wear a dress, like,
right,
you do that in a given state? Like, at what point are you going to be presenting as a woman and then going to be in trouble for using certain spaces? Like, the line, this is why...
Presenting as a woman versus being one, like...
It's, mannish, like, dykey lesbian women who often find themselves... By the way, I'm bisexual, so I think I get a little bit of cred to say dyke.
It's gross, man. A bisexual man gets to say dyke, do they? Okay, bro. Nothing to do with appropriation of any kind.
It's totally fine.
Listen, I'm 1% Jamaican. Should I be able to say the N-word?
Word, you're taking it back.
Right? Like, these are the people who are getting accosted.
Attacked in the... Who are you talking about?
In bathrooms, it's often done.
How many people are getting accosted in bathrooms? I don't get it, man.
Masculine, like, women, not trans people. So it affects all of us.
Right. Yeah, I totally see what you're
saying. Like, if accosting in the bathroom is the worst thing that might happen, is it really that big of a deal? Yeah, I don't know. If you're a lesbian, feel free to tell me whether Arden Hart here has the D-word pass.
Just saying, like, basically, it's sort of weird because there's this show I really like. It's called Yellow Jackets. Have you guys heard of it?
No.
I've heard of it.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, it's an AGP right here for sure. Listen, I'm an AGP too. It's fine. It's not a bad thing. There shouldn't really be a stigma around it. It just is the case for some people, and that's okay.
The cast is all female, and like the show doesn't handle like political shit really at all. Like, there's one gay character in the show, but like when I go online, I just find like an echo chamber of people calling it woke, and it's like, I don't understand why people...
Well, it's all women, so that means woke to every rightoid ever. Let me see.
Think like that everything is supposed to appeal to them. Like, it's art, bro. Like, maybe just because like I can't...
This is what
But again, who are we even talking about?
I want you to understand, Jesse. This is what I want you to understand. The right thinks that Star Wars has gotten too
This stupid little child thinks he can tell people how the world is. He knows nothing. Jovan Bradley is an idiot.
Political. The movie.
Right.
Wait, Star Wars, wasn't there like a bunch of politics in like the Phantom Menace and stuff like that? I'm sure you could probably make that claim if you tried. I mean, I don't know. What does Jovan here think about people that queerify fucking shows, like make socialist readings on like shows and stuff like that? The same kind of thing, but he probably doesn't care about it going in that direction.
About a war and trade agreements and political intrigue.
Okay, he's at least acknowledging reality for once. Yellow Jackets is about a high school sports ball team that's in a plane wreck and have to eat each other. Oh, crazy. I've not seen it.
Has gotten too political.
Right. Yeah, right.
They're not the brightest bulb.
When we just get to like make up these things about a group of people who is indistinct to begin with. God, this is fucking dire. This is actually dire. I don't think I can do anymore.
In the pack, friend.
Like literally,
I agree with
the third movie is all about the fall of the Republic, right? I mean, it's literally like this is how democracy dies. It's like,
well, yeah, but what do they mean? Oh wait, you don't know. What happened? Oh no, has it been? No, I can't watch this anymore. I hate the line. I think it's awful. People that call in don't realize what it is they're calling into. Jovan Bradley, I guess, is a perfect fit on that because he's full of shit. Just says completely wrong things on his stream all the time. It's the same deal here. He's probably like, what, about 26 or some shit. Feels the need to tell people how the world works. And like Arden, I don't even know where to begin with this fucking person, man. I don't even know where I begin. But yeah, there we go. That's the line with Jovan Bradley and Arden Hart. Are you glad that you watched that? I'm not. I'm not glad I watched that at all. And I wouldn't mind, but these people just repeat talking points they've heard about conservatives without interacting with them. Yeah, true. It's so easy. It's so easy to just generalize a group of people that aren't you. Not cool when you generalize trans people or black people. But people like fucking conservatives, I guess, just go ahead. That's fine. Just make up whatever you want about that group of people. It's bizarre.